Hello, my name is Dr. Shane Watt. My office is the Neurobolic Health Center located in South Jordan, Utah. Today we're going to discuss something that a lot of people have, but yet they don't even know it, or they actually think they have reverse of what is going on. What is that subject? It's called hypochlorhydria. We're going to discuss the truth about stomach acid. Now, unfortunately, most people think that they have too little stomach acid, or is it that most people think they have too much stomach acid? Think about that. Well, hypochlorhydria is too little stomach acid. But do most people think they have too little or too much? Most people think, because of propaganda, if you want to say, that they have too much stomach acid. In fact, over 110 million prescriptions in 2009 were given out because of acid. Too much acid. Well, how is this happening? Well, the modern media and the drug marketing campaigns have brainwashed us to believe that acid reflux and GERD are because of too much stomach acid. So, in this seminar, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you how that is not necessarily the case. And in 2009, if there was 110 million, we're now in 2014. I'm assuming that number has not decreased. Unfortunately, it's only increased. If we're 5% of the population and we are taking 50% of the medications out there in the whole world, I'm assuming that thing's increased. So let's go get into this and explain a little bit about hypochlorhydria. So these are some of the symptoms. After eating a meal, do you experience any of the following symptoms? Burping, a lot of burping, bad tasting burping, bad smelling burping. Do you experience gas 1 to 2 hours after eating meals? Do you get bloated after eating that lasts for several hours? Or do you just feel like your gut is just full? Do you just feel like it's just that heavy feeling in your stomach? Well, that's because we're not digesting properly. Now, some of our other effects of hypochlorhydria are failure to digest foods properly. Failure to absorb trace minerals and vitamins. Now, this is not a good thing, because when we don't absorb our vitamins and minerals properly, we age. It accelerates the aging process. And not only that, it also leads to neurodegenerative conditions. Well, that's the ballpark that I play in. Neurodegenerative conditions. And that's what most people have. They're probably watching this video. Failure to sterilize the food stomach acid. If you don't sterilize the foods that go in, because it doesn't matter if you cook it, if you wash it, if you heat it up, whatever you do, there's still going to be problems that get into the gut or into the stomach. Well, you have a high stomach acid so that it kills those things, so it sterilizes the contents of the food. A lot of times we have allergy. You know, if you have an allergy response, that's not healthy. No one likes to have allergies. And it can be major responses, like as swelling up and could kill you, allergy, or something as simple as getting a runny nose from it. Okay? Brain fermentation. What happens is if the food in our gut just sits there, it develops gases. That's one of the reasons why we get the burping and the other gases. But also those gases can get into the bloodstream. Then they go to the brain. And if they get into the brain, they can cause different effects. And some of those effects are things such as hyperactivity. Also other psychotic issues. And I'm not talking about the major ones. I'm just talking about other psychotic episodes. Increase in stomach cancer. Malabsorption of vitamin B12. If we don't have good stomach acid, we're not going to get our B12. And that's essential in our metabolic processes. And we can have anemias. So let's review this and try to make it simple for you. So I've tried to use cartoon drawings to make this as simple as possible. So this is our food. Unfortunately, this right here is our standard American diet, which isn't healthy for you, but most people eat it. It goes into our stomach. From the stomach, the food then goes into our small intestine. It's called a bolus. That goes into the small intestine. Other things that help in the digestive processes are the pancreas, as well as the liver and the gallbladder. We're going to go on each one of these individually right now. in our stomach, we need to have a healthy pH, and that healthy pH is 1 to 3. That's very acidic. Nothing else in your body is supposed to be acidic. That's not healthy for you. But the stomach has to be very acidic, and we have to have enough of it. If you were to put your hand into your stomach, within 30 minutes, that hand would be very much not feeling good, because it would already be starting to dissolve and break down. You couldn't do it. It would hurt too bad. The stomach acid is very important to be low. As it goes into our small intestines, 90% of our absorption is in the small intestines. So that's where we absorb our vitamins and minerals and proteins and everything else. If the food sits for too long in the stomach, that's one of the things, reason why we have hypochlorhydria, is that issue. We have a low pH that kills the critters. Okay, I just call them critters. That's all the bugs, the bacteria, the viruses, those kinds of things. Fortunately, it doesn't kill them all, but it's supposed to kill a majority of them. The bolus of food enters into the small intestines. Now, it has to be acidic. If the bolus of food is not acidic, then it doesn't allow the pancreas to release digestive enzymes. So what it is there's a hormone called secretin. And that secretin hormone, basically, if you want to say it in an easy way of explaining it, pinches the pancreas. And that pinching of the pancreas releases digestive enzymes into the small intestines, and that is how we start absorbing the food. Remember, 90% of the food is in the small intestines. I wanted to explain this because everyone's like, well, I have heartburn, and heartburn, I've taken meds and da-da-da-da-da on, the doctor told me I had too much stomach acid. So this is what happens. We have burning, and why do we have burning? Because of this. If you feel bloated after meals, if the food sits for too long in the stomach builds up that acid. So what I mean by that is you only have so much space in your stomach, and it's supposed to digest fairly quickly. But if the food just sits in the gut and isn't able to be digested, then what happens? That acid now kind of builds up on top, if you want to say, and it's got to go somewhere. So where does it go? It goes out an area that it shouldn't go out, because the esophagus, its tissues are not made to withstand the acidity, and therefore we have that burning, right? So what do? Well, unfortunately, most people rely on the medical model. But I'm going to tell you right now, just on the heartburn cause of knowing that it's not enough stomach acid and not too much stomach acid, you probably know more than your MD. Meds do this. What do? They stop, or they inhibit proton pumps. So they're called a proton pump inhibitor. And what is that proton pump? Well, that is a hydrogen molecule. So it doesn't allow hydrogen molecules into the stomach. And if that doesn't happen, then the hydrogen isn't able to mix with the chloride and zinc, which forms hydrochloric acid. We had the prescription. Well, I don't take prescription meds. I just take those ones that are over the counter because they help me. Well, unfortunately, they might help you momentarily, but this is the sad thing. People are taking these every day. Every day. None of those medications were meant to be taken longer than a 14-day period because of the effects that it can have. What are some of the effects? Well, it doesn't allow you to absorb foods. Osteoporosis, for one. Okay? Do they work? Of course they do. If they didn't work, they wouldn't still be selling them. But what is the cost? Well, improper digestion, malabsorption of vitamins and minerals and proteins. That's a big cost, because if that's happening, you're not healthy. And if you're not healthy, isn't that what life's all about? You got to be healthy to enjoy life, to enjoy your family, your work, your kids, all those things, right? What do your labs say? What do they look like? Because people in today's society, they go to the doctor does some lab work, and one or two things come back because of skewed numbers, come back not positive. And they look at it and they say, oh, you need magnesium. You're magnesium low. So take a magnesium supplement. Well, is it because you don't have enough magnesium, which it may be? You're not eating healthy enough, which is probably the case. But is it also a possibility of you're not absorbing it? That it's just going through the system because you're not absorbing it because of hypochlorhydria. So once again, failure to digest food, failure to absorb trace minerals, failure to sterilize the food, allergies, increase in the possibility of stomach cancer, B12 malabsorption, anemias. Those things are all affected because of hypochlorhydria. The liver is a major player in this. The liver produces bile. The bile then goes into the gallbladder, and from the gallbladder, it goes into the digestive tract. How many people have their gallbladder out? And they think that that's okay. Well, if your gallbladder was so bad that it needed to be taken out, it was better to be out than in, you've already had organ system failure. Think about that. You've already had an organ that has failed. And now, because of that, you're not digesting fats properly. And if you're not digesting fats properly, that's not good for your system, but it's also not good because you're not able to digest and absorb fat-soluble vitamins, namely vitamin D, which is a major player in health. See how there's so much more to it than just, oh, I have acid in my stomach, I don't have enough, or I have too much. There's more to it. It's about getting all those nutrients. Food is a major player. But if you eat properly and you're not digesting properly, it doesn't matter. You're not getting the nutrients that you should. So, I hope this has been educational for you. I hope it's been worth the 10, 12 minutes or so that you spent watching this video. Once again, my name is Dr. Shane Watt. I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope you pass it along. If there's somebody else that might have these issues, you can reach me at 801-495-4444, or you can email me at whatisupdoc@yahoo.com. Thanks for your time and have a healthy day.